National politics. The big seat. It's almost 10 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music, great friends. Welcome so much from wherever that you're catching the show. We are online and on air on cruisefm.com/stream, on Crooze TV for TikTok and YouTube. To join the conversation, you call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Now, if at all you want to contribute by way of text, you can be able to follow through on our social media handles, 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM. On Facebook, we're celebrating 15 years in November. I can't wait. It's exciting knowing that 15 years of being the baddest in the region. And we are not about to stop our online audience and the growth we're having there, those that are watching the television and the feedback that keeps coming, the contributors, the ardent big seaters, from Madilu in Hima to Agava in Sintro to all these petrol stations around Barra that blaze loud the big seat and all this, and the people that are always looking, we appreciate you very much. It's no exception of this morning. We are going to be talking about the aftermath of the elections. Now, I have 4 gentlemen with me in the studio, but before I introduce them, let me give you a rewind of the week. Certainly, I thought Charity Binababa would bounce back in Parliament. She kind of added some kind of flavor in that Parliament. Every time she would wear her camouflage and you see the beauty of an African woman. But the Uganda People's Defense Forces sitting at the Land Force headquarters elected 10 representatives of the 11th Parliament. And it had been reported that General Muhoozi would be a candidate in these elections. Sadly, he did not take part. But we know that the Deputy Lieutenant General Samoki Dink was elected and he garnered the biggest number of votes. The Lieutenant General, very land friend, James Mujira, who was also elected. He is the CEO for the business arm of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. Lieutenant General Sam Kavuma, this one was among the first ADC of the president in the 90s, very known for the operation in Somalia there. Major General Henry Matsko, the long-time chief political commissioner of the UPDF, made it there. Then we have Major General James Kinawa, Major General Joseph Semwanga, Brigadier General David Robert, Goni, Colonel Slivia Meme, Colonel Christine Nekesa, and Colonel Knight Ichirza made it there. We all thought that the CDF would be a member of parliament, and we'll see how it goes. But which parliament would be as funny for all you have the CDF in there, but Semuju is not there? We'll see how all that plays out. Now, the Independent Electoral Commission held the local council elections. In Mbara City here, we know certainly that Robert Kachebezi bounced back as city mayor. But in the division elections in Mbara City North, Gumisiriza Chabwisho, an independent candidate, beat Benon Mugumo of the NRM. Now, Benon is been a seasoned politicians in the city, and we all follow through. And the Auditor General, Edward Accord, released the 2024-25 annual audit report and presented it to the Speaker of Parliament, highlighting major procurement irregularities and flaws in PDM. A total of 6,875 audits were conducted in that particular financial year. Now, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Mohozi Kainerugaba, apologized to the United States following a series of social media posts in which he accused the U.S. Embassy in Kampala for playing games and hide and seek, coordinating this whole thing of Bobby Wine's disappearance. But at least we know that he came out to apologize, and very shortly after he had made a pronouncement of the same of cutting cooperation with the United States over its links with Robert Chagulanyi. And it's not for starters. The CDF has before complained about the embassy of the United States in doing some underhand things with Uganda's opposition. Now, security personnel continue to be deployed at the home of the opposition leader for the National Unity Platform, Robert Chagulanyi Center. I'm stating they are doing it to prevent it from being turned into a public disorder hub. We know certainly that videos were released and pictures. The CDF released a picture on his Twitter handle where a UPDF soldier was holding a gun in the living room of Chagulanyi Center before the wife of Chagulanyi. And it's been wide condemnation over that, but it's the CDF anyway. Now, the Uganda National Examinations Board announced an improvement in grade 1 passes in the 2025 primary leaving examinations, with candidates qualifying to proceed to the next level of education higher compared to 2024. Now, the president also directed the Minister of Information, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, to appoint former BBC journalist Alan Kasuja as the executive director of the media center. But I saw the spokesperson of the National Drug Authority saying how Kasuja can be appointed the executive director of Uganda Media Center. That literally has turned into a functionary of the state that only conducts press briefings and nothing else ever since, I think, Opondo took over. Let's welcome the team. I have Bruce Owakunda, who is a panelist on the big seat. He's a member of the National Resistance Movement. He's from Castle District. I also have Council Bwenje Deus Didit. He's an advocate of the High Court. I also have a guest, Mukama Andrew, who is a lawyer, and I have Atkwate Ronald, who participated in the youth councillor race at the City South, I think, right? For the city. You will tell us how that went and all that we know. You told me in the week that if a candidate doesn't have money, it's literally impossible for them to win an election, especially electoral college election. Good morning, Bruce, and welcome to the big seat. How was your week?
Good morning, Councillor Wanyaji. The week has been quite eventful. A lot has been happening. The latest being the appointment of Alan Kasuja, like you've highlighted in your remarks. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see the letters that leaked to the media. There was an exchange of correspondences between the president and his son about this appointment of
Alan Kasuja.
I
have not addressed my mind to that. I hadn't seen those letters. I'm interested.
Yes, you're going to see it. And the president, first the CDF wrote to him saying there were some maneuvers and mismanagement that were being done at the media center, and proposed that Alan Kasuja should be appointed. And the president wrote back and said he was not aware of all that was happening at the Uganda Media Center. But in the same letter, he says that decision had been discussed at the strategic levels with other people. And Kasuja has been one of the closest friends of
of
the
Alan.
CD of
I mean
the
of CDF.
So you cannot downplay the role he played in his appointment.
In fact, if may God rest his soul, if Cedric Babu was alive, I wouldn't be shocked if at all by now an appointment would have come through with his name.
But of course, this is not to downwater the competencies of Alan Kasuja.
There's no doubt.
I believe he brings a lot of experience. He has been in broadcast journalism for quite a long time, from Sanyo to Capital, then to the BBC. So that level of experience, that level of exposure, I hope there can be a new approach to government communication and the messaging. We have been doing very, very, very badly. The president had even created some parallel channels like the GCIC to transform how government communicates.
But the president is very synonymous with the creating diversionary units, even when the original ones work very efficiently.
That is part of statecraft.
Perhaps.
So we continue with the people. Courts are still entertaining election petitions. We saw
there was a vote count.
There was a recount for Dedan
Mubanji's
the NRM. Prior they had declared the independent. So Dedan won. We saw Hamson Ubua had gone to court to seek that there is a re-election in 18 polling stations. They conducted fresh elections in those 18 polling stations. Still he was beaten hands down, and beaten by a very humble teacher. The
reason behind his failure.
Yes,
he's been selling a very deceptive image as a very powerful minister, and I would see Dennis Obua and remember Amama Mbabazi at his very peak.
And he went to parliament when he was, I think, 25.
About 25.
So it was a long time coming.
The same happened to Peter
Gwang and some other people. We had elections at in the local government. Especially in Barasite North, where I reside when I'm around. For
Chawisho and Mugume.
And I was impressed the machines worked.
I am told the machines worked. I badly wanted
the election.
Yes,
very violent.
Very
people are charged. That's why you see there was normalcy of the Committee on Foreign Affairs of the Senate. Mede rejoined and responded to Moses' tweet and said, you cannot just make such statements and make hollow apologies. He called them hollow apologies.
I'm going to give all of us an opportunity to have an opinion on the CDF, but just say hello and we'll get into it. Good morning, Ronald, and welcome to the Big Sale.
Thank you, Wesige. Good morning. Good morning to fellow panelists and the listeners of Crooze FM.
First of all, congratulations for participating in elections.
Thank you very much, Vanyaji. And like I already say, that participating in an election in Uganda itself is an achievement.
Indeed.
Until actually your name is on the ballot paper, you have to celebrate.
It's even bigger.
Until actually your name is on the ballot paper, you have to celebrate.
It's even bigger when you're younger, when you're a young man.
Exactly. So thank you. And just like you said, on the 21st of this month, we had elections for special interest groups, representatives to local government, where I was participating. I had contested to represent the youth of Mbarara City. And the election was characterized by high levels of voter bribery, manipulation of delegates, and also actually misinformation and propaganda. Wesige, this was the first election where I witnessed a person or voter at the level of a delegate being bought at the price of a duck. You know a duck?
I know a duck.
So a delegate who actually has like 100 people behind him being bought at the price of a duck.
At a giveaway price.
At a giveaway price. That you go and vote, take a picture, then you come back here, I pay you 50,000.
But is it a matter of life of the end justifying the bids? If the man doesn't have the money and here is an opportunity, what do you want the man to do?
And then 50,000 will solve all your problems. So I was 100 votes. 5 million or something, but it was against my conscience, and also the fact that these young people were willing to vote for the highest bidder. So it means we could bid until the one with the highest amount wins. So it's very unfortunate. And also,
but it would have been very unfortunate for Mugume's son to lose. The other side also come Mugume to lose.
But
that is double. How is it called? Double loss.
It's actually not about who should win depending on the background they come from, whose son, but it's all about the competence of a leader and the ideological capability that the person is going to represent the people. So also,
but we have no doubt when you come back. I think, will you be still in the youth bracket come 2020?
I still have only 3 years to be in the youth bracket. So
they have a special
welcome, Ronaldo. Good morning.
But before that, Vanyaji, we also had elections for youth representatives to parliament, and they are also characterized by high levels of brutality. For example, a vote cast in the favor of an NLM candidate cost about 600,000, and it was the same procedure. You vote, you take a picture, or you show it to the candidate. You come here and you get your balance or your pay, and it's very unfortunate. And like I've always said, that when money dictates in politics, ideas risk being secondary, yet they should be primary, and also that representation risk being compromised. So it's very unfortunate. We shall end up with lukewarm politicians. We shall end up with transactional politicians who are more interested in gaining personal wealth instead of transformational leaders who are actually determined to change the status quo of the people they represent.
Okay, welcome. Good morning, Andrew, and welcome to the Big Set.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Wanyaji. I'm so happy to be at 91.2 Crooze FM.
Indeed. I know you come from Uganda, and since it's your maiden appearance, there must be some people in Uganda that should be able to hear from their own son. What are you doing in Mbara, and what are you up to?
Thank you so much. In Mbara, I'm there actually for an assignment for 1 year, and I'm basically taking a course. I'm upgrading my law degree, and
you're
basically
at your back course.
I'm at my back course, to be precise.
Okay.
For those who really need to know that.
Okay.
Basically I'm in Imbara. It has not been so eventful for me because, as you can
it's a very consistent
at the back course, you will really need to prioritize your time so well.
Okay.
But nonetheless, as a citizen of this country, I take it upon heart to make sure that I follow the procedure and the status quo of the country. I come from Uganda district, and I'm a born of Luchiri sub-county. And Uganda district has actually a trend of
we've hosted here
shallow politics. But as an upcoming lawyer and politician, I really want to change the status quo back home, and I'm here to at least share knowledge with these big people in studio.
We're stopping for
really
break.
Nice. It's really nice opportunity to see you guys.
Okay, we're stopping for a break. When we come back right into our topic of discussion. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends. friends.
All right, it's 28 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Good music. Good friends, my name is Wesige Banyaji, right here on plot 12, Mutilen. The Big City Zone happens every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11. And we talk about the aftermath of the election. Now, to be a part of the conversation, you can be able to send out some message on our social media handles, 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM on Facebook. Call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Our topic of discussion is already on our social media handles. We just concluded the elections. I think there are no more elections. At least the cycle is done. But we're thankful to God that there is peace, tranquility, and stability across the country. I think there is no election violence. We saw it in Tanzania. We saw it in Kenya. But Uganda has been very peaceful. But in the bad side of it is that the leading opposition figure, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the president of the National Unity Platform, is still on the run. And there have been reports that he's still inside the country, but is changing location and going all over the place. But there are also pictures and videos of the invasion of the UPDF or security personnel at the home of Kyagulanyi. And the CDF has come out clearly to mention that the state is looking for him and they are going to arrest him, and the UPDF is still deployed at his home because they suspect he may be planning something sinister that could destabilize the country. But we all agree that even with the shortfalls in the past election, at least by and large we can say we are confident we have new leaders and Uganda must move forward. But we cannot move forward without talking about the state of the country. Bruce Wakonda, maybe now, this man that I should also, I have a habit of telling listeners when guests come late. They did it. Came extremely late, but let's allow him to say hello to you. Good morning, Gwenja. Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine. And of course, the reason I came late because I taken my daughter to school.
So your daughter shouldn't have been.
No, but I came at 9:10. Okay. Came at 9:10.
To the matter.
And of course, as you're aware, children are going back to school now from Saturday and Sunday, Monday, and onwards. It appears the directive of the Minister of Sports and the Minister of Education and Sports that the schools should open on the 10th of February. I think it's not holding either. People don't. Okay, maybe it was vague. Maybe it is not convenient, because when you shorten the term, you do not shorten the curriculum of the student. So I think some schools have said no. And of course, I want also to take note of the fact that the week has been fairly tough, especially on the conduct. I mean, because of the conduct of the CBN. And then I think I'll
go right
to
there.
But of course, also on the international scene, I take cognizance of the fact that the acting president of Venezuela has all of a sudden regained her consciousness. She has now stood to the president of the US and told him that enough is enough. I'm tired of your orders. You cannot run Venezuela from the United States.
When do we have matters here?
So
let's talk about Uganda
you see,
to the matter, please. The time is fast spent.
But Uganda is not resurrected. It does not mean stay, or it does not exist in a vacuum. So
the statement of the CDF, time is fast spent, sir.
Time, yeah. Of course, you see, as long as we have the CDF alive, Uganda will never have peace. You see, and of course, I'm not saying, I'm saying this without any fear of contradiction, but the way he thinks he is, okay, the kind of person he thinks. So he has a very aggravated sense of entitlement. That as long as this man is here with us, Uganda will never be peace. We shall always be on the run, especially we who do not support the government of the day, because we have an alternative opinion to his. But for him, he's a person who does not respect the constitution of the day. He does not respect anybody. He thinks to be a member of the opposition is to have a bullseye on your head. But I want to inform him that we shall oppose this government as long as we are alive.
Ronald, let me get to you. I want you to just oppose, first of all that is happening with the treatment of candidates that participated in the election, especially the opposition candidates, the statements of the CDF on his ex-handle, the deployment of UPDF troops at the home of Chagulani, the events we saw in the local council elections, at least in Kampala, we saw Nassif, I think he had stood to be chairperson, I think, of Wakiso district, literally being mugged from the service center and have his clothes all torn. We saw all that was happening. Is it pains of democracy and being a young democracy that as we grow to the level of the United States that has had democracy for over 200 years, some of these are things that we have to deal with as a country?
Banyaji, the longer a government stays in power, the more authoritarian it becomes. That's for the fact, and I think we should all agree. And one distinction of authoritarian governments or authoritarian regimes is having performative elections just for the sake. And they are mainly largely done to maintain the status quo of the government. But having said that, I think it is only a pretender who can say that even if we had the fairest election, Museveni would not still emerge as a winner. It is very evident that Museveni would win an election.
Even if it were free, fair, and perfect?
Yes, even if we had the fairest election in the history of democracy.
No, to mean that even if there are no reports and allegations of any kind of irregularity, the president will still emerge victorious.
Yes, would still emerge as the winner. But the biggest question is at which percentage? At which percentage? Just get where to note.
But you see, I can allow this Andrew man here, but I cannot believe that a long time big seater does not know that one person speaks at a time. It's Ronald.
Exactly.
Please.
So, the major question, the biggest question should be Museveni would have won with which percentage? And first of all, I think as a Ugandan and as a person who voted President Museveni, by the way, willingly and genuinely, Museveni would not have got the 71% he actually got in the elections. And this also speaks to the petition, presidential election petition, actually presented by Kasivante. I don't think the purpose of that petition is to annul the presidential election or to say that Museveni didn't win election. It is actually to ascertain the level and at which president won the election. And I think even before we go to running the substantiality test, saying that the actions are not substantial enough to annul election, we should also examine the level and the manner in which elections were actually conducted. First of all, to begin with, is the issue or the factor that you said in local government elections, the BVK machines actually performed very well. And it was not accidental. I'm telling you for the fact this was an intended move. These machines could have worked even in a presidential election. But there are mafias or power brokers which I think maybe said we need a huge percentage of President Museveni. And to me, as a genuine supporter, I don't believe in that sense of saying that Mr. Museveni must get 70% or 80% as long as he wins an election. So this percentage was actually the most it was fabricated. It was the fabricated percentage. Museveni could have won an election, but still
not with 71%.
Not with 71%. That's for the fact. Then secondly, let us look at what observers say, because you understand the AU observers led by former Nigerian president
Olusegun Obasanjo and Jonathan.
Goodluck Jonathan actually highlighted some of the key factors that transpired during elections, and one was the shutdown of internet. You know that for a fact, and also the incarceration and arrest of activists like Dr. Sarah Videte, also about the indiscriminate suspension of human rights organizations like Chapter 4. These are events that actually contributed to people wondering if the election was free and fair. And if you ask me that if the election was free and fair, I would still say it wasn't. But I would say Museveni would still emerge as a winner.
Okay, thank you. Bruce Owakunda, you just heard from Ronald Akankwata on the fact that the president would have won this election regardless, but the percentage is what could be contested. Going into this election, I think all of us here had agreed that President Museveni had done extremely well in the past prior to the election. We saw the tours he had made, the PDM, what the PDM had done, and how President's hands were on deck on making sure that service delivery and the public good is provided. I think we all projected a positive result out of the election. But the contestation that is being now raised by the opposition, what is your observation of first in the way the Electoral Commission conducted these elections, but also the different stakeholders? How was their interaction and how did it affect the election?
Talking of different stakeholders and all the elements involved in this election, I will start with security, since you had talked about the CDF. I don't believe that any other chief of defense forces can behave the way Mhozi is behaving. I do not think. Going into this election, he used his official Twitter handle and said the president would get 80%. And I think even when we support NRM, some of these things we should not condone.
Exactly.
Mhozi is a military serving officer, let's be honest. He's in the role, the major role of the primary role of the CDF is he's in the overall command of the army, even its administration. So there are legal and ethical restrictions that as a person he should exercise at least some level of professionalism and decency and restraint, legal and ethical. So on the security aspect of it, there could have been some overzealousness, and that's where it comes from. About the Electoral Commission, for me, I believe they did a very good job. When Viola was here, I told her, in the circumstances, because you see, they also have their challenges. They organized a credible election. Integrity demands that what you say in private, you must also say in public. In our private conversations and all the people that I'm always with, I tell them that Museveni won.
Yeah.
But I also don't believe it could have been 70%. That's being honest. For me, I can say Museveni could have won with 55 to 57 or the best 60%. And I want to agree with what Ronald said. Most of the times it is not that when the machines refused to work, the president had direct hand or involvement. They are cartels. I've told you, you saw here people using impunity, using violence to denominate their opponents so that they can be unopposed. Most of them are targeting ministries. It seems there is a blueprint on how ministries are given out. Even considering the popularity, that is true. which percentage did you get? 60, 70, 80, which means you're popular. So there is also that possibility. And I've told you, having a fair election, all stakeholders, we must take collective responsibility. This is not to say that even in some parts, the opposition did not do ballot stuffing. They did. We have someone here in the opposition.
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the big seaters clearly off air said he participated in rigging elections for the opposition.
For the opposition.
Yes. Please.
So you see, even on the part of the government, even on the part of the opposition, where there are loopholes, people will always exploit.
In fact, now that could justify the statements of the president when he said the opposition rigged my elections up to about 2.7 million votes. It could be possible.
So the good thing, now they are seeking remedy from court. If indeed the election was not free and fair, the entire exercise had no credibility, then there is a possibility that the court can ask for a fresh run of elections. Like violence is an instrument of politics. I don't know if and everywhere, whether in the US, whether in the UK, whether in Uganda, whether in Kenya, wherever, violence has always been an instrument of politics. So for me, Banyaji, my takeaway should be that, in my own opinion,
fairly free and fair election. We have one candidate contesting those elections.
Can you say that again?
I think by and large, as citizens of this country, we can agree that elections were organized, were held, and we have new leaders. That is a matter of fact. On the credibility of the process, that could be debatable, but at least we have new leaders. Tell us your assessment of these elections.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, the elections, in my opinion, were shambolic. They were just a fraud. You see, when you stop the members of the opposition from campaigning, just because you, a candidate, as well as the president of the country, are you are so weak, you are so paranoid of the opposition, you feel they are stepping into your plate, you feel that you don't have a life without being a president. Now, that kind of election, where you even have your son as the CDF, and not only that, a CDF who is openly partisan, a CDF whose major objective in an election is to ensure that his father, a particular candidate in an election becomes success. We all know that an election, especially in African countries, is entirely based on the role of the army. If the army is really fair, then the election is fair. And you see, the constitution of our land, it says Uganda shall hold different.
Like you said, first of all, I don't want to be portrayed as representing his interest in the first place in the studio, but as someone who is just maybe examining the status of what is taking place in the country, him being one of who was the second, I think he was the second,
yes,
and in also the previous elections. So there is something that the entire population fails to see. You know, it's not all about the leader or maybe the leading opposition candidate being in hiding. It's about the why. Let's say he's in hiding, or let's say they are looking for him. It's the why. Why is that situation? Why are we having such a situation in the country? And I want all of us to note that when I think it's this friend of mine who talked about it, that when a regime amasses so much power, I want to compliment by saying that when a regime amasses so much power, the state institutions and agencies lose value, because we are supposed to be protected by the state agencies. We are supposed to be protected by the state organs. We are supposed to be protected by the judiciary. We are supposed to be protected by the Uganda police. We are not supposed to be running from them. we are supposed to be seeking refuge from them. So, when
is it cowardice? You think when President Museveni disagreed with Obote, listen to this. When President Museveni disagreed with Obote and he called them bogus elections in 1980, he didn't whine. He didn't call on the international community. He was not a baby. He was not a cry baby. He simply told Obote, well, before we go to the election, if you rig these elections, be certain that I'll pick arms. President Museveni picked arms 5 years down the road. He's been in power for 40 years. Bobby Wine, who has promised the Ugandans a new Uganda, even when the election was rigged, quote unquote, he has chosen to go into hiding.
Mr. Wanyaji, President Museveni was not fighting a dictator that was in power for 40 years. You don't know what it means to be in power for 40 years. When you come out as Bobby Wine and tell your and tell your voters that Kanonye, Kalonde, Kakume, Kabanje, and after saying that, every state agency comes out to say, you people go home after voting. They don't even put that section of the law that you can at least be 10 meters away, 20 meters away. They just say, go home. And when someone says that, I think you saw the voter turn up in the last election. I think it was been one of the worst. So, if people don't come to vote, and then you win by a certain percentage, and then you're celebrating, and you're saying that the leader, the leading opposition candidate is in hiding, and then by that he's not serious, and people shouldn't trust him, yet all the statecraft that you have, it has threatened every individual in the country, then I don't understand your point.
Let's stop for a break. We'll be right back in the second hour of the show. Don't touch your dial. Thank you so much for locking in. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics.
Take the phones and call in and contribute to the topic of discussion. Now, to be a part of the show, you can call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Now, if at all you're a business owner or you have an event or anything that you want to let the people know about, and you want to scale up your sales and make sure that you're on top of your game, now you can reach out on Crooze FM for very discounted advertising rates. Don't wait for November Love to come and do business with that. So we are welcoming all those that need to advertise with us. Please come in. We are at Plot 12 Mutilen. You can find us. With me in studio is Bruce Wakunda, who is a big seater, a member of the National Resistance Movement, who has spoken very differently this morning. He has actually said, if I can say exactly what he said, the president won, but he did not win by 71%. He won by about 55, 56. To the highest it can stretch is about 60%. But the same. So if I asked Bruce to explain to the nation how the votes, the percentage moved from his projected of 55 to 71, and he's saying he's not in a position to explain. I have Deus Didit Bwenje, who is an advocate of the High Court. I have a lawyer, Andrew Ainemkama, and I have an engineer in Ronald Akankwata. Yes,
yes, I wanted to state that even if you put lipstick on a pig, it stays a pig.
Yeah.
So him, my friend here, even if he tries to kind of sound as if he's on the side of the people, he has never been. He cannot say that the election was rigged, but it was rigged too much. Because if I were to pose a question to him, how does he know that Museveni was going to win the election?
No, how do pollsters know that a projected poll would, because they are, how do they call them?
How?
No, I mean,
yes.
Those that do polls before an election,
yes,
release results,
yes,
and they were able to, in fact, show that President Museveni was the most popular candidate in the race.
You see, a poll is not, it is a projection.
And that's what I said is my opinion.
Even
yes. And I'm asking him, you see, when you have spent too much time in power, you tend to think that I will always be in power. So for him and his people, they think that because we have been in power for 40 years, even this election is ours.
And why not?
Okay?
Why should
and you see, they have to know that things can't change, and they will change. Okay? And of course, you are trying to create a narrative here that Bobi Wine is a coward because he's in hiding. But I think it is also important that we pose a question to ourselves. Why is he in hiding? See, when Museveni failed to win the 1980 election, he went into hiding. Now, what you do in hiding is either you fight or you don't. But the bottom line is that you are in hiding.
What Bobi Wine did is going in hibernation.
Yes, and why is he in hibernation? You see, we should not forget the fact that the CDF, he wants his head. Actually, the CDF wants Bobi Wine dead. That's a fact. This is a person who has said, so far we have killed 22 noob supporters. This is a command of an army that attacked without even a search warrant, without a warrant of arrest. They have not stated any offense, but they attacked the premises of a presidential candidate. They jumped over. They switched off power. They switched off CCTV. They even went inside the house. They assaulted. Now, when I use the word assault, it can be sexual, it can be physical, even mental. They assaulted the wife of of Bobi Wine. If you could imagine the psychological trauma she's undergoing now, they find you in your bedroom and they even force you to become naked. They are trying to incite you to reveal where your husband is. See, Barbie is not an agent of Bobi Wine. We are not even sure if she's a member of NUP. Okay, so for you to attack the family of a rival, war has some kind of basic principles. Family is out of the quick. I mean, actually, it is out because now I can imagine Bobi Wine going into the room of the wife of the CDF, and he touches her the way he wants. I think there's nothing as hurting to a man as that is. But for the CDF to come, and it is even stated, because I saw it somewhere, that he personally went there into the home of Bobi Wine. He drove because I think he did not believe that the SFC, as a purported professional army, had failed to find
an elite force of the army.
Yes.
This is the Special Forces Command.
But
this is literally the SEALs of the United States.
Exactly. It is even more powerful than the entire UPDF. Because now we have the UPDF and the SFC. Because the SFC, the way it behaves, it is not at all part and parcel of the what? Of the UPDF. So they surrounded the home as elite as they are, but they failed to find the man. And this is the man you are calling a coward.
But perhaps we could take it a notch higher.
Yes.
Isn't it embarrassing for the security forces of this country, the intelligence system, that they cannot trace a man?
But why are they tracing?
No, Bobi Wine is cannibal.
But they are saying they are not.
Is there a search warrant?
But the CDF has categorically been clear.
You see,
this man is in hiding and we are looking for him. If they are not looking for him, what would Bruce? I think that is misplaced. If they were not looking for him like you want to impress us, what would they be doing in this house?
I've not seen an
Speak to the microphone, sir.
I've not seen an official statement from the police or the army. People that communicate. Yes, there are structures that do formal communications.
Who
is looking for Bobi Wine?
What were UPDF troops doing in Bobi Wine's house?
I am not sure, but they are not looking for him.
Maybe to add on that.
Please.
First of all, I think Wenje is actually the biggest fear of Council Wenje and Bobi Wine is MK. And to actually base on MK's statement or MK's tweets to actually say that police or the UPDF or the SFC is looking for him.
But Ronald and Owaku, there is a siege. I wish I would pick another word on the home of this man. All right, the CDF, in his personal capacity, has come out to say the state is looking for this man. Why do you want Ugandans to believe that the state has nothing to do with whatever that is happening to this man?
The same CDF said that nobody is looking for Bobi Wine.
First of all, the CDF as a person, I think,
this man.
taking his statement.
You see, it's not about what you say. We judge you by what you do.
But you see, Council Wenje here says that the CDF wants Bobi Wine dead.
Of course, yes.
Because if CDF actually Muhoozi Kainerugaba wanted Bobi Wine dead, it would be the easiest thing to do. It would not take minutes or something. But taking CDF statements or tweets very seriously, I think you are just disorganizing your mind. Because first of all, this is the person who is actually trying to attract the attention of the young people.
Why are you demeaning the office of the Chief of Defense Forces? No, forget about Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the general. This is the office of the highest commander of the security forces.
And this is a person who actually wants to join active politics, like he had already said. Yes, he's trying to actually get the.
Your microphone is off. Get that. I don't know.
Yes. So
this is the person actually who is trying. He has power, but he needs to be popular. So he will try to make some statements that will appeal to the public, maybe to catch the public eye, quoting attention at all costs, like the sixth law of power says. But when in actual sense his statements do not mean exactly what he's actually trying to do. So taking the CDF statement so seriously, I think it will just disorganize you, and they don't make
him
so much sense.
Would he want the SFC in his house, especially if he's not there?
Yes, to protect me. If the SFC is there to protect me, what if SFC is there to protect Bobby Wine?
You are not there. Would you want it there in your absence?
Yes, to protect my family, to protect my house or my family. To protect. Yes.
So the pictures that you saw on the handle of the CDF, were they trying to portray a scenario that the SFC is in the house of Bobi Wine to protect his wife and the friends, or what?
Okay, let me have Bruce, then I come to Andrew.
areba into bera hariho ubwenge nko kubayitsire bwenge hariho no kushoborukirwa hatu ubwenge ari no bwenge, that's a fact ko kata kushoborukirwa. His level of discernment is fundamentally flawed. No work kumushoborerota takuba
let him finish.
I gave you time. For me now, Banyaja have come to accept what Museveni always says, that Bobi Wine is an agent of foreign interests in this country. I am now convinced to buy into that. Even when you look at his posture, even when there is an interview he gave, I think, to BBC, the man is obsessed with quoting the West. And let me tell you, change in this country, you can take it to the bank. It's not going to come from the West. It is going to be the internal dynamics in this country. If he is to change leadership, when Museveni didn't agree with what happened, he didn't run and hide in Nairobi. He had to begin a revolution from within.
No.
He was in this country.
No, he was here.
The 5 years he spent. 5 years in
let him submit.
He spent 5 years in
I'll
Ruel.
give you an opportunity.
For me, I don't know whether Bobi Wine has a troubled conscience. If indeed he is innocent, he says he lost unfairly. That is one. 2, he says he's innocent. He has not committed any crime. So why is he hiding? He would rather come and they take him to court or they take him to prison.
Exactly.
This man's head is needed by the CDF. The CDF has categorically been clear. But also, we should also be in the know that all the deputy presidents of the party are in jail. Wouldn't it be right that Bobi Wine keeps in hibernation?
So but also
because the threat of jail is for real.
But you people look up to him for leadership. He's their commander. Hati bija bakabatahiriro wanyu ukareba sho ya esesera mazima nogira ngo uyo mwana nokora ki
kashamo kino mutahira
echo kumutahira nchama isaje. But you see,
but
you see, you're already saying the state is bad. That is a fact. If the state is bad, so what are you going to do if you want to change leadership? It is a fact the state is going to come to you.
And Andrew, what is the hope in those that believe in Bobi Wine? Where is their hope? This man, who is the frontline commander, is nowhere to be seen. And they thought they would perhaps demand for the credible and legitimate results out of the election. But no one, they have no command center.
Yes.
The deputy presidents are in jail.
So what's the way forward?
The head is in hiding.
Give us strategic guidance and we see how.
Thank you.
What is the strategic guidance at this point?
Thank you, Mr. Banyaji. Actually, akubamba gamba submissions ezibamba gamba.
Submissions are kutega saboru.
Actually, the other gentleman.
Now,
when you talked about hope, I remembered the fact that NRM as a party has come along to boast over the years over the security and peace of this country. And I, as a person who was born in their era, I'm grateful for that. But I want to say that absence of war is not necessarily the presence of peace, but it's the presence of hope. Where is the hope in this country? Hope can be social, it can be economic, it can be political. There is no political hope in this country. There is no social hope in this country. There is no economic hope in this country. Like I had said earlier on, that when a government amasses a lot of power, the state agencies die. So the people lose hope, because people can no longer get the services that they are supposed to get from the state agencies. So actually there is, I think Mr. Wenje talked about that, the CDF we have right now, I think is one, it stands alone in history. I think not even just of Uganda, but of the world. And someone is going to tell you, you better not take this man seriously, and other facts are going to show you that you better take this man seriously.
Yes.
Because when someone is invited by parliament for questioning, and he says, I cannot go in front of those buffoons, and he doesn't come. And and he doesn't come. Actually, those are corrected. They are summons. You're supposed to come by law. If you were summoned by summoned by a committee of parliament, and if you don't come, there are supposed to be consequences. But if you take it to your Twitter page and you say I cannot come, and you even insult these people, that is a precedent we take. If you say that if you're not happy with General Reru, and at the end of the day is out of the army, then that is a precedent. So whatever he goes on.
In a nutshell, what you're saying is that Ugandans should take General Muhoozi seriously.
Ugandans should take General Muhoozi seriously, but again, I want Ugandans to know that some events that happen, for example, when there is a serious issue in the country. For example, we have had elections, and we had elections in the dark. We didn't have social media running. At least in 2021, before these VPNs were regulated, most people were able to see whatever was transpiring, because in 2021 you were able to use a VPN without data. So no matter what MTN or Airtel did, you could still just have your VPN and then stream live or whatever. But this time round we were totally in the dark, and being totally in the dark, and the elections, we come winding up elections, and then we have now a new set of facts, a new set of tweets from the CDF. We also have to call that diversion, because I have also come to realize that it is very possible that the CDF he likes using diversion when there are more important issues to talk about, because right now everyone is more concerned with the statements of the CDF. They might not be honest statements, because right now he's not just talking, he is probably the one chasing Bobby Wine, because when you look at his statements, I want his head. When he said he's not going to come to parliament, he did come. When he says he wants Bobby Wine's head, Bobby Wine knows that they want his head. He has to run, because I've told you, when a government amasses a lot of power, it can do anything. And this is a person who survived in the recent election, who survived an assassination attempt in Arua from the face of it. Because if your driver or bodyguard is shot just in front of you, that means that bullet, it could have even been a stray bullet, and it could have got you.
It only means there is no way you can kill an agent in the presence of the principal, and the interest is on the agent. It's not reasonable.
I want us to understand that there is a more actually serious question that we need to look at, rather than just looking at what General Muhoozi is saying and doing. We are focusing on this, but there are a lot of irregularities that happened in elections. People have videos. Actually, every day I see a new video. Ballot stuffing, and there is actually people who are taking their cases to court for election malpractice. I think there is a court ruling that say that once the ballot boxes, once the seals are already broken, and once they have opened the boxes, we can't have a recount. And people who are seeking a recount, those ones who have filed petitions, they are not going to work out, because already we cannot get anything from that. So that's why I was saying absence of war. The absence of war is not necessarily the presence of peace, but the presence of hope. We have no hope in this country. Our hope has been stolen by the government. Our hope. Bobby Wine is running because he doesn't have hope. He doesn't know what can happen. He doesn't know if he's protected.
He doesn't know because
Do you
he
have
being
proof-
an
do you
opposition.
have- do you have proof of it? Because you see, as Ugandans, when Besigye lost the 2011 election, he was clear. We have gone into an election. The government has pumped a lot of money in that election. There's inflation. There's a problem. What did he do? He said, I am going to walk to work. Ugandans followed through. There was a stampede, literally, for over a year. The state had to arrest Besigye, I don't know how many countless times. This was action-packed. This was a leader who said, I don't agree with the results of the election, but I have to express disobedience against this illegitimate state.
Probably no one came out to say that they are looking for him as a person.
When Bobby Wine lost the election, we can't locate him.
Why?
Why can't we locate him?
You see,
And I was saying we should. That's why I was saying that right now we should use logic, because right now no one has that truth from Bobby Wine himself. Right now, what is happening? But as political analysts, we have to dissect and see why is he running. If you say that Besigye didn't run in 2011, I don't think the level of the level at which the CDF is acting right now is the same level he was. Then we had one person that was taking charge of this country, and people feared that one person, the president. But right now we have two individuals.
Actually,
We have two individuals, and
one.
we have now a CDF who openly threatens opposition candidates. So why don't they run away?
Okay.
So so I want to correct him that we have only one person running the state, and that is the CDF. The commander in chief, Museveni here, he is no more. He's just a stooge.
Okay.
He's so passive, he's so dormant that he has ceded his power, his authority to his son.
The man is dormant yet he
Yes, okay.
Okay.
So our issue
Yeah.
with Museveni is that if he's tired, he should go. But for him to delegate his power unconstitutionally to his son, that is unacceptable, and we shall fight it or die trying to fight it.
Okay. On our social media pages, on 912 Crooze FM on X, we put a question. The chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the petition challenging the election of the president, insisting that the January 15th general elections were conducted in full compliance of all electoral law. And our question is, what is your assessment of the just concluded election? Sankara Alton says the failing of the BVVK machines in presidential elections was actually a planned move by the state to enable the acts of vote rigging. Shout outs to the students of Metropolitan Ibihare campus. Thank you, those that are catching the show right there. Prince Levy, you're saying we could say it was a free and fair election if the internet was there. There was no access to information. Mbale Godwin, who is saying you're listening in from Swahili here in Bahara, and says whoever feels like Yawakama is right, then your message is not very clear, but regardless. Nwajra David, you're saying we never expected a free and fair election as usual. Gift to Inamasco, you're saying there was a lack of transparency following the internet shutdown and malfunctions of the BBVK kit. Then Matko Jackins, you're saying you're listening in all the way from Uganda, and they're saying this election was far good compared to the others. Then you're saying only that they planted that seed of saying that votes by the NRM are stolen. Then A.G. Da Costa, you're saying everything they are doing is okay, but I'm asking, is that money that they're giving MPs? And we also know that MPs are going to be given about 315 million Ugandan shillings to buy vehicles. On the numbers to call is 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let us know about of what you think about the just concluded election. But we're also talking about the events around the Magere, the home of the president of the National Unity Platform. And is there an activity at Kavule at the party headquarters? It must be very old there, knowing that literally all places NUP look deserted because the deputy presidents of the party are in jail. The big set.
A very, very good morning, Kasa Banyaji.
Good morning to you. How are you doing? Good to hear from you.
As usual, speaking to me, Owen Freeman, Toche, Mazara Kashari.
Yes, Owen.
To the topic of discussion today.
Please.
There is a reason why the votes, the election is being free and fair is not good. For me, I think
we are losing you. We can barely hear you. Let me pick another caller. The big say.
Yes, Mr. West.
Good morning. Good to hear from you. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Innocent from Bahad. Mr. Banyaji, you can't work there, but to be open to you.
Yes.
In Churhura, no one voted. The ballots were brought home, were already ticked. So, how do people come in the studio and start to confuse us that we had a free and fair election? We should be honest as Ugandans. Thank you.
I think he was spot on. In fact, his message is to Wakunda Bruce and Ronald Akankwat. He's asking, why are you fooling Ugandans? Why are you misinforming or disinforming Ugandans? On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. I think, to be fair, Bruce was very clear. He said, and Ronald, the election was won by the president. What they dispute is the percentage. And the influence of the percentage could have been elements as those that are being raised. Yes, on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big say.
Yes, 91.2.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
This is Michael calling in from Rachigando, Ruvindi.
Yes, Michael, how is Ruvindi?
Ruvindi is so good, but Mr. Banyaji.
Did you vote?
I vote here in the polling station called Rachigando in Ruvindi. But we were totally disappointed because the CDF and the team, by the time they threatened the citizens of the country that because they were saying that the country, the President Museveni will be getting 80% and he imagined 71%, meaning that the percent was remained. He was also capable of getting it. They are still scaring. How can you say that? I'm so even not knowing what these NRM people are trying to mean, because in the studio I'm seeing some of them are arguing that the CDF is not looking up for the Bobby Wine. But you see that he is totally looking for him, because if he is not looking for him, what are the UPDF soldiers doing in his family? Can you imagine? So that's it. Banyaji, let me shout up Agaba Benson at Green Union.
Alright, Agaba Benson is a big contributor of the big set. I want to appreciate you, sir, for taking time to listen in. And thank you for the call, Owen. Let me pick a bit more of the calls on 752-912-912 and 070-912-91 and 0780-912-910. The big set. We just lost that call. Crooze FM, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes, Giovanni.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
We are talking about it.
So, to the matter, so most people saying that yes, President Museveni won the vote. But what is making question is the percentage. What's wrong with that? Provided you know he won. Now, why are you threatening the march on the percentage? There are no sanctions that yes, we won by 70-something%. Now, if we won by 65, how would it contribute to your? I don't know how I can even.
You sound angry. What is the problem, sir? Who hurt you? On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Yes,
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Magara Edwin calling in from Bware.
Yes, Magara.
For me, what caught my eyes was that the Electoral Commission go to the presiding officers and the polling assistants. But in the process of voting, they were never given their money, and that's why the polling assistant and the presiding officers, they were highly involved in the voting rigging. Because they had no money in their pocket.
They will pay.
So the Electoral Commission should always pay those polling assistants and presiding officers when they finish their work on the day.
Okay.
Morning.
Thank you so much. Let me pick a bit more of your feedback, Cordin, and let's get to hear from you on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Crooze FM.
Crooze FM, good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing? Yes, to the matter. We are talking about the aftermath of the elections. Hello, caller. Unfortunately, you call and not speak. We are going to get to engage into something. We know that the term of office of the president and members of parliament will, I think, start about May. And the parliament is now fully constituted, and at least we have our fly on the wall says the Central Executive Committee of the ANRM approved the Right Honorable Anita Among and the Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa to bounce back as Speaker and Deputy respectively. What is your expectations of the new term of office from the President to Parliament? At least the flagship program of the parish development model had an impact. At least we saw Ugandans vote for the NRM because of the impact of
from
PDM.
the onset.
Yeah.
I say no.
Yes.
Museveni didn't win, or the NRM did not win this election because of the PDM.
Okay. At least in that statement, you concede, you accept that there was victory.
No. I'm
give
saying
you an
because you stated that they won because of the PDM, and I'm telling you that it's not the PDM. It is absolute thuggery. They stole the election. We all have personal experiences here of polling assistants, of the members of the EC taking ballot papers. So it is so embarrassing that you attribute the success of the NRM and the incumbent to PDM. It had nothing to do at all. You see, the agents of the NUP were arrested everywhere in Uganda. They were not at the stations. Okay? The presidents, I mean the deputy presidents of the NUP are all unknown where they are. We don't know where they are. Okay? So the level of violence, the level of voter disenfranchisement, the level of intimidation, which was targeted in the direction of the NUP and so forth, it made people to feel tired of the election. They do not have any hope, because if in Kampala the voter turnout was 27%, that is appalling. So and of course I've even advised Bobby Wine, don't come back in an election. Don't even come back to the state of Uganda. Go abroad, get military training, and come back. We are there. We are waiting for you. The moment you launch, we are going to join you. Okay? Because you see.
You look like a coward.
He's a coward.
You've always talked about removing this government through
Yes.
the force of arms.
Yes.
But you're running
It's a process.
you're running a law firm here in town and
Yes.
enjoying life.
No, you see, if I was actually not in the opposition, I wouldn't be here. But I think I want to specify that,
As you conclude, I need to move on to the rest of the team.
The future of Uganda is unknown. We have a future that is entirely in the hands of one man, a son of the president.
Thank you. Andrew,
sometimes I look at my children and I ask myself, where are they going? In a country where there is no equal opportunities, where your tribal extraction determines which opportunities you access. You see, we usually talk about the dynasty, but it's not out of bad faith. It's reality. Okay, and we are cognizant of the fact that the future is not good for those who are not members of the dynasty.
Okay, Andrew, we saw a situation across the country where NUP would barely find candidates to take up some of these positions across the country. How can a political organization that cannot find suitable candidates to contest even talk about victory? How do you explain that a political organization that is serious about taking power has no candidates in various constituencies, and after an election the same organization is going to come out to say we were rigged, but you could not even find candidates for all positions?
I want to assert the fact that an election in Uganda at the moment, we don't look at an election, for example, at the time of electing the candidates and then the post-election, activities that happen. An election in Uganda is predetermined by very many aspects. An election in Uganda, you talked about PDM being one of the reasons as to why NRM won. I agree, but there is another level, or a biased level at what I agree with that, because if they won with PDM, was it genuine? President Museveni spent at least this past year before the election making tours around the country in the guise of doing what?
Popularizing the parish development model.
Popularizing and maybe supervising the parish development model. But if anyone could, a layman could see that this gentleman was campaigning. Because if he went into the field and then these other candidates did, because he didn't just go to, when he was going for PDM, he was going to people's homes. He was going to people's homes, people who had in the guise of, used PDM money in the best way, and then they could tell you stories of how they started with, we always hear this, with 1-2 pigs, and now they have 100 pigs in a space of 5 months or 6 months. I've been in the village actually in Christmas, and I have seen people telling me that 1 million they were supposed to get, there are people who got 500,000.
Where did the other 500,000 go?
The other 500,000, don't ask me, but that person will tell you that I had to go through levels, I had to go through people, and whenever I would go, a certain amount was deducted, and someone receives 500,000 out of 1 million. That means that money is not going to help him. He's going to first spend that money on luxury, or maybe on commodities, on less vital commodities, and it's not going to help in the investment that the country would really want.
Okay,
so the country benefited from the PDM.
Yes,
the NRM benefited from the PDM, but not in a correct way, not in a way that the PDM helped people and then people voted the NRM. The NRM used the PDM to campaign.
Okay.
And that is not the way things are supposed to be done in a democracy.
I'm going to ask Bruce and Ronald to speak into this new term. All said and done, we have a new set of leaders. What should Ugandans expect?
First of all, Banyaji, thank you. I want to dispel the impression people want to create here that we have no hope. Somebody asked, where is our hope? That we are hopeless. that we are disoriented. We have no purpose or direction.
The lawyer here just paid 6 million for the back course.
and I'm not sure
maybe if you don't pass,
if I'm going to get a job afterwards.
Maybe
yes.
The hope I was talking about.
Yes.
so you see, you cannot preach one standard and act in opposition of it. If you say there is you have no confidence in the Electoral Commission that it cannot organize a fair process, then why do you go ahead and participate in the election? Besigye was very clear after 2016. He said, "I've finally lost hope that in an election organized by Museveni, we can never take power." And he said, if you want, do civil disobedience or use other means that are unconstitutional to overthrow the government. You saw people after winning these elections, some of the MPs, the Joel Senyonyis, people retreated back to their homes. They are going to have a comfortable living. They are buying apartments that you see mushrooming every day in Kampala. They are comfortable and they have hope. So that's a false narrative that we don't have hope. And the second one is, you see, Banyaji. For me, I have no hope. I lost hope in Parliament whatsoever, especially this previous Parliament. I've always said here, times without number, that Parliament already is bloated. We have too many MPs that I don't see the work they do at all. Remember the cost of politics, the massive expenditure you've seen in these campaigns.
We at least now know that even when the members of parliament have even taken their oath of office, they already allocated about 315 million Ugandan shillings, and this amount has been increasing over the years.
It added now 115 million, from 200 to 315 for each member of parliament, most of whom are already driving cars. So for me, I have little respect for parliament. First of all, even in its leadership. Many times I see a band like Wetangula, and then I remember our speaker here, even the way they conduct business. The biggest impunity, by the way, you're talking about the CDF. The biggest impunity is in that house. It is a house of thieves. Commission agents, all of them are stationed in that house. So I have no hope there. About the new term of the president, under the new blueprint, like I said last Saturday, under the theme protecting the gains, the president highlighted, the NRM manifesto highlights 5 key priority areas. One is infrastructure development, extending the road network, then energy, housing, etc. Then there is human development, education, health. Then there is peace and security. There is regional cooperation. So it is a lot that I expect in the new term. One of the pillars is actually democracy. So
the last one.
And by the way, Bwenje has said that
let's allow bro.
Has said that the president is senile, is dormant. The man ran a very vigorous campaign, and if you want to challenge his authority,
and in fact, if I had an opportunity to meet the president, I would tell him I'm very proud of an 82-year-old man who, like Andrew said, was
for the whole year.
Who campaigned for a whole year.
And you see, Bwenje is a government enabler and functionary. When they arrested people in Wizwera there and they took them to court and they hired him, he said these people committed crimes. Take them. And
he was the lawyer. He received instructions from clients, and then he became hostile at the same time.
He became hostile at the same time.
Yes.
I think I have to kind of be straightforward here. I stated we tried to advise them, don't plead guilty. They said, you see, I didn't have a helmet, I didn't have a license, so I committed the offense. So they went forward and pleaded guilty. So to me, if you plead guilty, it means you have accepted, you committed the offense, and that's what I said here.
Okay.
Yes.
Ronald, the new term of office.
Before that, Banyaji, first of all, I want to say this. You see, 48% of the voters that had registered didn't turn up. So you mean you have a situation where about 10 million of the people not actually going to choose their leaders. And for me, it would be okay if these people were actually maybe contented with the status quo. But in circumstances, if these people maybe felt that their dissent and discontent would not be actually resorted or addressed in an electoral process, then these people, like Wenje says, will actually seek other means to actually regain their democracy or their leadership. And I'm very worried if that is the case, we might see maybe demonstrations. If their leaders are serious and they are really up to the case, we might see riots like the Gen Z riots. And at worst case scenario, we might see even take up arms like Wenje is here is insinuating. But away from that, the next term of office of leadership, first of all in parliament, I expect, first of all, there will be low quality of debate compared to the previous parliament. We have seen people who used to debate very well, like Semu Junganda exit parliament. We are seeing, like I said, lukewarm politicians entering parliament, the transactional politicians who are mainly interested in deals entering parliament. So the quality of debate and actually the impact of parliament as a house will decline. And of course, we are going to see the competition for the top positions in parliament, the speakership, the deputy speakership, which certainly you might see them actually retain their positions. But I've always said in my mind and publicly that we are having the worst speaker in the history of Uganda, Anita Mong. She's not the best speaker we should be having right now. And if these members of parliament are very serious, they should stand and actually contest against her, and she should also lose. About the presidential term, first of all, I don't expect anything new from Mr. President, from the president, because just like he said, this term is for protecting the gains. So the gains are already there, the socio-economic gains, the political gains. So it's just about maintaining those gains and maybe maintaining stability. I also expect maybe the CDF to become more powerful. Actually,
already we see the appointment of Alan Kasuja, knowing he's in a very good
state agent
relationship with the CDF. Perhaps now, may God rest his soul, Cedric Babu was here, I would see him taking position. It looks like this is Amho's Kinergaba term of office.
And this is exactly what I'm telling you, that the PLOU will gain more momentum. People in PLOU will get more appointments if Bruce positions himself very well. They will be in good positions, and maybe
let's have one person speaking.
Bwenje, who fears Kainerugaba so much, will still be frightened about him. But just like I said, you shouldn't be worried about his statements. The man is only courting public attention because he already has power. Now he's trying to gain popularity in the public, in the youth, that they should actually buy his idea as he positions himself for the leadership in the next few years.
Thank you.
That's absurd.
I got a message from Awan Sankara somewhere who says, can you imagine, Stephen, the CDF who announced restoration of the UCC before even the Uganda Communication Commission did it. So literally, it was the CDF doing all this.
Yes.
Maybe let me get it from you
now,
before I get to
Parliament.
No. Listen to the question. Could this now be the projected transition term?
I know, maybe 2031, but still, we cannot control it because, as I stated earlier, the president of the country is not in charge. He's way absent-minded. The person who's in charge is his son. He does not talk about any wrongdoing of his. The man is torturing people. President Museveni is just he's kind of like dead quiet. You say, actually, I think he has told him, do whatever you want to do. And of course, even for the Parliament of Uganda, I don't see any hope in it for the next 5 years, because the speaker now and the deputy speaker now and the presumably the speaker then and the deputy speaker then are all stooges of the CDF. They cannot hold him in check. Yet we all know that Parliament is supposed to check the powers of the executive arm of the state. But whenever there's a you see, I'm actually I'm afraid of him because he's above the law. That is my strongest concern. He's above the law. Yet the Constitution says everyone is subject to the law, but he's the law himself.
Thank you.
And that is my fear. And I call upon all members of the opposition to overcome that fear, and we fight for change.
Is the transition taking shape, Andrew?
When you talk about the transition, I don't see any kind of transition, because when you talk about the transition, I anticipate a genuine transition to a more transparent kind of leadership and regime. But if you talk about transparent, and all that we can anticipate in this term is, from the president to the son. That's what everyone can literally see that is going to happen. And I wouldn't call that...
what's wrong with it?
Isn't the son of the president a citizen of this country?
Is a citizen of this country. But when you talk about transition in this term of office, I want to see the son of the president out of the military. I want to see the son of the president, if he wants to participate, I want to see him, at least from the word go, doing what is required of him if he wants to be eligible to stand for presidency.
Okay.
So, but before, I just want to say that we have a country where political actors are more famous than service delivery. And we have more transactional politicians in parliament, more than the career politicians, and our country is at stake.
Okay. Bruce, in a second, is the transition taking shape?
The transition has already happened.
You've been in fantastic company. Thank you, Bruce Owakonda. Thank you, Council Bwenje Deus did it. Thank you, Ainem Kama Andrew. Thank you, Ronald Akankwasa. My name is Wesige Wanyaji. Let's meet next weekend on the Big City. We have news at the top of the hour. God bless you. We are out of here. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.